Ooh, well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, everybody from all around the world, hello and welcome to another episode of The Watchable with me, your host, Jean-Luc Welch, as we're here on this Friday afternoon for the championship rounds. Let's make some noise. Everybody around the globe, clap it up, get excited wherever you are in the world of boxing and beyond. We got a whole bunch of stuff to cover in the landscape of the heavyweight division with HRGOVIC slapping the mess out of Moses ITAUMA. He's not going to give a telegraphed position for what we could see on the night of the fight. Also questioning Ryan Garcia and his potential of having his name thrown in the hat of the likelihood of being undisputed at 147 in the welterweight division. We've talked about Devin Haney. We've talked about Teofimo Lopez. Now we need to discuss Ryan Garcia's potential future in this division as if he could be, or if he has the capacity to be, the last man standing in a division filled with a bunch of depth of talent at the top level of the areas of championship aspirations. All of that and so much more. Boots Ennis, we're going to also be discussing on this show, talking about his likelihood of having the capacity to not just beat Josh Kelly, but also some questions surrounding him and the evolution of his talent. What we would like to see if he truly is trying to go and potentially get to a point where he's meeting Virgil Ortiz at 160 pounds. And if Virgil got the title, Boots got a title at a higher division in what would be a mega fight. What would need to be the next step in the growth of Boots to ensure that he gets a victory on that big night later on in the coming years. All of that and so much more we're going to be discussing with you on today, and we thank you so much for tuning in. We thank you for listening, and we thank you for joining us on our humble abode of a show. If you haven't already, go ahead and leave a like on the video, as one like makes a world of difference, and subscribe to the channel. That's right, come on, be a part of the hottest show in all of the globe right here on YouTube, and join us on our channel, join our stream, join our community, join our empire, and go ahead and subscribe and be a part of this channel. Be sure to hit the notification bell so you know whenever we post right here on YouTube, so you can never miss a moment of what we have going on this show, and you're always ready to have yourself in the midst of this conversation, so you never feel out of whack, out of depth, and out of time when it comes to your ability to have your voice be seen and heard on the channel. And speaking of which, go ahead and put your chats in the comment section down below. We want to hear from you about everything that we discussed today. Again, it is the championship rounds. If you did not know, what that means is that you all control the flow of this show. Wherever we may go, it is you that holds all the cards in how we move, how we talk, how we discuss, and how we abide in our show on today. And please, if you don't do anything else, we would appreciate if you can support this channel, as we have Cash App, PayPal, links down below in the description, super chats, super gifts, stickers, and the like, all for you to come and help us invest into this show. We can't do this without viewers like you. We are like PBS, like we always say on this channel, and you all are the backbone that helps to grow and make this show flourish and shine, and make it also divine to have us be able to continue on your airways, on your screens. It helps me to pay the bills and help us to go through and edify this show, make it better for you all to witness and enjoy. And please, if nothing else, go ahead and share the show with everybody that you know, so we can keep on building up this empire together, all with you and your support at the helm of opposition and conversation, or not opposition, excuse me, on the helm of edifying and helping to put this show to the masses around the globe. But without further ado, shameless plugs aside, we got a lot of stuff to cover in a small amount of time to do it. So it's time to talk boxing. It's time to talk sports. It's time for the championship rounds. And it's time, ladies and gentlemen, to step into the ring. Yes, sir. Ring the bell. Let's get it going. Let's get it started. Let's get it popping. Round one of the show. Round one of the championship rounds going underway today. And Johnny Durag, what's going on with you? How are you doing? We salute you and appreciate you joining in on the chat on our live stream. We thank you so much for tuning in and supporting our show today. How does ITAUMA get hit with the slap. Hey, brother, that's what I'm saying. Because we were getting all confused in that face-off. And that's going to be actually the first topic of the show that we got to discuss. Because that's kind of been making waves around everybody's airways and their phones and all manual or all manner of devices. We just had the face-off of Moses ITAUMA versus Filip Hrgovic for the IBF Championship of the World that's going to be happening tomorrow afternoon. And we just saw an explosive outcome of action with Moses ITAUMA getting slapped upside the head. And if you didn't get to see the clip, I actually have it loaded up right here so we can actually watch it together. Oh, wait, no, that ain't me. Hold on. Wait a second. That ain't it. There we go. Now you can see it with this whole face-off that was going on with each other. We saw Moses ITAUMA and Hrgovic get into each other's face, and next thing you know, it turned into a pushing and shoving match, and we got to see Hrgovic land the first legitimate blow of this contest on Moses ITAUMA. But let me show you exactly what happened so you can see what took place and respond accordingly as we transition over to picture-in-picture. I'm just making sure you all can see it. But this was the slap heard around the heavyweight world.
Final time. This, our main event tomorrow, live worldwide exclusively on DAZN. Brought to you by Frank Warren for Queensberry. It's 12 rounds scheduled for the vacant IBF Heavyweight Championship of the World.
This got me excited. I'm not gonna lie. Hey man, this got me pumped up. I was already excited to see this fight going through because it could be a crowning of a newfound a potential star in the making. But lo and behold, and again, I played the whole clip so you can see the entirety of the interaction. But hey, you got to see Hrgovic legit get to the head of Moses ITAUMA and land one of the biggest blows on the night. Again, honestly, we're gonna have this on repeat just for a little bit because this is great footage. And you can see the biggest thing about it, the way that he threw it. And again, I know we don't want to go make much of too much of the face-off, but let's be perfectly honest. The reason why this was so legitimate or so interesting is because we saw Hrgovic land a shot and Moses couldn't see it coming. That's what's so stressed out. That's what's so stressful about this whole affair. This brother threw a shot, threw a right hand, and Moses couldn't react. Now, this isn't a live fight scenario, but the last time we saw a situation like this, Canelo Alvarez versus Caleb Plant, if we remember. Do we remember that? Caleb Plant versus Canelo Alvarez. Caleb Plant went and tried to hit Canelo after Canelo pushed and shoved him, and they got into it on stage. But when Caleb tried to throw, he was too slow. Next thing you know, Canelo counters with a shot of his own and hits his glasses literally off of his face. This is what we potentially have as a danger. Because that telegraph shot, look, I'm telling you, hit flush, hit clean, perfectly in range, and they had enough leverage to push his head back. That would have been, if it was an actual punch, could have had some real daggone pop to it. We test the chin, but hey, the reaction time, and this is and maybe a little bit questionable, but this is what we were saying about this type of fight, this whole interaction, this entire conversation surrounding how this can go as a fight. It's because there's an elevated level of elite caliber talent. This very screenshot that you see on your television and or phone, or even if you're just listening, this moment that we're discussing, that you're watching and or feeling through your phone, is the exact moment that we were trying to say this was the step that we were concerned if Moses was really ready for this type of leap in competition. Because now he's dealing with people that got enough speed and technique, they can disguise their work way better than he's had with any other opposition going against him, especially somebody like Philip Hergovich, who, per the Ring Magazine, is ranked, I believe, 5th in the world of heavyweight boxing. This could get dangerous. This could get scary. This could be an even more in-depth conversation surrounding the likelihood or the ability of the one Moses ITAUMA to be able to withstand the elevated aggression. Now, this isn't me saying this is what's going to take place. This isn't me saying this is what's going to happen. I'm just telling you that's the concern of the current scope of competition as we're looking at the rest of the boxing ethos. Let me keep on reading your chats and responses. And look, yeah, it's exciting. Moses thought stuff was what he did. He absolutely did. Hergovich slapped him like a father slapping his son. Teddy Berkshire, what's going on with you? How you doing? Good to see you. I met. Just watched it, yeah. Y'all just watched the face-off. Everything. Pimp slapped him. Jerome Holmes, how you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for showing up and tuning in. And yeah, he did. He going. It wasn't even a pinch slap. That was straight up Dave Chappelle, open face, open handed. That shows there might be some issues with reading the punches of Philip Hergovich. Now again, this could all be overblown, and we could see Moses ITAUMA go through and just straight up take him out. But just know that one instance has showed other instances, or has showed callbacks to other instances. Frank Martin versus Tank. Like I said previously, Canelo versus Crawford. Where what happened in the face-off dictated what took place on the night of the fight. We said that straight right hand of Hergovich is his best weapon as a fundamental fixture in his game and a powerful tool to end the fight. And you see why right there. It ain't a fluke. It's real. It really is real. But let me see. Hergovich trimmed down significantly. Yes, he did. The craziest thing about this whole fight, we were saying that Hergovich is the biggest of the, or one of the, hold on, wait a minute. I don't know why stuff ain't muted. But we were saying that Hergovich is one of the bigger or taller fighters in this division outright that we would have seen Moses ITAUMA face off against. And in perspective, normally comes in 240, 250. But within this face-off, we were seeing that ITAUMA came in as the smaller guy. Because it was ITAUMA coming in at 141, and Hergovich coming in at, 237? I think it was at 237 just about. Moses ITAUMA came in 241 pounds. Hergovich came in 237 pounds. So Moses ITAUMA is the one carrying the heavier weight, heavier muscle, heavier frame of body mass and potential, bringing in some added leverage and power if he's looking to go and crack the chin of the previously not untouched, but the previously never knocked down Philip Hergovich. It's going to be a very interesting affair, to say the least. Let me see, and he wasn't so calm after the slap. No, he wasn't. We about to get to that as well. 238. Okay, thank you. 238 pounds was the weight of Philip Hergovich. We appreciate you, Teddy Berkshire, for the fixing of information. But yeah, he's roughly 3 pounds heavier, but about an inch shorter, inch or 2 inches shorter. That range, based on, again, with that clip in mind, that range of Hergovich is a concern, because Moses has never faced off against a fighter that can use range in such a way that is both destructive and sound, like with Philip Hergovich. This is why Hergovich was moving and acting so confident. He's calm. He's more collected. He's more cool. He's more level-minded going into this fight. That experience that he's talking about, yes, ITAUMA is ready, or is acting like he's ready for the big stage. No question about it. I'm not going to sit here and act like, I don't think he's mentally mature than what we see from other fighters that are in the same position. But I am going to say that from what we saw with that slap, you doggone right. He was the first to instigate. Don't forget, he pushed the likes of Hergovich off the stage, similar to what we saw with Gervonta Davis versus not Frank Martin. Who was it? It was Tank versus, I think Tank versus Rolling. My apologies. Tank versus Rolling. Pushed him off the stage to make a point. He doesn't like disrespect. He can't stand disrespect. In terms of Moses ITAUMA. Tank as well, but Moses ITAUMA specifically. And after that slap, that brother was gunning and ready to go. Now, understandable. We get it. I'm not going to say, ooh my, you're out of your mind for wanting to go and try to get your get back after somebody hit you across the face. Yeah. But the mental scale of the fight. It's one of the biggest aspects of the boxing, of any boxing match outright. And what does it tell you? It tells you that there is, at this point in time, there might be an advantage for the likes of Philip HRGOVIC. There might be an advantage for the likes of Philip HRGOVIC. Philip may feel like he's already in Moses Chalmers' mind of, see, I told you just a kid. You're playing childish games. You're pushing me off the stage. You're trying to act all big and bad. Sure, I get it, a bravado. I'm not knocking that you don't think you're ready, but also the way that you're moving, you acting like that you don't have a test in front of you. You don't understand that this is a level that you may not have experienced, nor are you mentally stable like you should to be ready for this fight. That, in terms of, you may think you are, but you're looking at you face to face. That's something that I can see. I got you. That's what HRGOVIC could be feeling. And if that shows up on the night, and we do see most of the time, if he gets frustrated, if he gets in a situation where the fight is not going his way, that's where the questions come into play, because now we have to ask, well, can you keep your cool? Because there is one thing about this fight that we haven't seen that we need to talk about, that we'll probably talk about later on in the show, but I'm going to bring it up for the immediate right now. We've never seen most of the time have a fight not go his way. In terms of, I'm not just talking about he couldn't knock you out early. I'm talking about, we haven't seen a fight where you've been in a situation where the stuff you've been doing is not working. And you may just lose your cool when it comes to that moment in time. You may not be able to have the same posture of dog in you or outright bravado because you don't have the things falling into place like you think that you should. Every fighter faces that type of wall at some point in time. How do you face off against opposition that isn't just stiffer, but it's pushing back against you and you don't have an immediate response in kind to do something about it? HRGOVIC could very well be that main antagonist of opposition. Do I think Moses can respond? Yes. We're going to find out if he can, if it turns out that this could be that type of fight. Because HRGOVIC can make it that type of fight. He can, without question. There's going to be some stuff answered mentally for most of the time on this night, all because of this interaction. All because of this interaction. Some people going to look at this and say he got sunned. He going to look at it and say you got owned on the stage. And all that momentum that you were talking, all that bravado that you were talking previously up until this very moment, when push came to shove, yeah, you shoved HRGOVIC, but brother, I landed on you. I touched you. I hit you. I could have hurt you. And you weren't ready. When the moment came to do something about it, you weren't ready to even react to it. I got you. Mentally, it's going to be some answers that we need to ask, or that we're going to need to be answered by Moses on this one. I'm telling you. Let me see. I agree, Luke. Well, look, like Teddy, I appreciate it. No injury, everyone in shape. Blessed, boiling, win for power. Oh, we are. No, somebody's getting knocked out. Somebody's getting knocked out. I can promise you. Somebody's getting knocked out. After this, somebody is getting knocked out without question. That's not even a debate anymore. Somebody's going to sleep. Because at this point, there's a bigger point to prove. There's a bigger point to prove. It's beyond just, the fighting position. Now it's about, hey, brother, Moses feels like he's getting disrespected. HRGOVIC feels like you're too big for your britches. And you keep talking about, I'm just a stepping stone. Brother, this is going beyond just the normal states of contender versus prodigy. It's getting a little bit personal now, which, for most people, they like to see. But before we continue, we want to make sure that we cover the rest of the chats on this show. And also want to read you a quote, or show you a quote that we had from Moses ITAUMA, or I think from Philip, that we had about this fight that further bleeds into this conversation. As you can see over here, with HRGOVIC talking about Moses ITAUMA again in light of that whole situation of the slap, it would be best for him to lose this fight because it can ruin him. To win a world title so young. His head is already in the clouds. He's already delusional. And I think it can ruin someone who's not ready for that kind of fame. HRGOVIC is talking about there's some mental struggles, or rather there's some mental stability that Moses may think he's ready for, but he's not. In his mind, it's better for him to lose at this point in time rather than go beat me, step up, and then now you really show that you ain't ready for it. And there's more to this quote than just trying to throw shade at ITAUMA. We have to also look back at some history with ITAUMA himself. We talked about Jared Anderson yesterday. We did. And we discussed how Jared Anderson had fallen out of the love of the sport. We had discussed he's never been in this sport in the nearly the same convicted way that we see with Moses ITAUMA. And I will say that is true. But at that respect, there's another side to the story. Because the other side of the story is the fact that Moses also at one point in time wasn't fully committed either. There was a point in time early in his days coming up in boxing, in terms of as a professional, he fell out of love with the sport. He talked about it himself. He lost the passion. He lost the drive. Similar to Jared Anderson. It was Ben Davis, his trainer, that came and taught him the better ins and outs of the sport and to learn to love the mental scope of the game. Get a newfound dedication by finding a new drive to force you to want to be better. Moses had some pitfalls mentally, but got himself back on track with the help of his coach to be fully dedicated yet again. Don't forget that. But at the same breath, he's been in a situation where mentally he did slip, just like Jared Anderson. Lost the love of the game. And now that he's in it, he's now uberly up here. The tempering of mindset is something that we have to recognize in a fighter. Now, this could be a no problem situation. It also could be a problem that, there is a moment of you're not ready for a certain degree. The pressure of reaching that caliber of what should be a historical marker weighs heavy. The pressure of being the guy weighs heavy. The pressure of being able to live up to the potential that's supposed to be laid in front of you is very heavy. And everybody ain't built for it. And everybody isn't ready for what happens if you don't achieve that potential. Jared Anderson being an example, and ITAUMA potentially being another one. He's got the literal record books in front of him. He could potentially be the second youngest heavyweight champion in boxing history. Younger than Floyd Patterson and just a little older than Mike Tyson. We are looking at a man who's been pushed since his eighth fight, as potentially the next guy that could go and put on Mike Tyson for the modern day era. The man that could be, forget Usyk, once he's gone, it's yours to rule. There's nothing anybody can do. And the talk may get to your head that you are too good, not just to improve, but you're already where you need to be. And we've seen that be a pitfall for fighters that, hey, brother, there's stuff I didn't work on. There's stuff I didn't try to do. Next thing you know, when the opposition comes your way and the exposure starts, I'm a deer in headlights. Literally, the spotlight above me is too much and the moment in front of me is too tall for me to be able to overcome. I really wasn't prepared for what came with all of this potential. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen with most of the time. I'm not saying that. I'm simply bringing up HRGOVIC is pointing stuff like that out. And HRGOVIC is somebody who's been through the ringer. He's won and lost. He's gained and lost opportunities. He's gained experience in defeat because he's had defeat in front of him. He is the barometer for Moses. He's the barometer. This is a bigger test than just ability. This is taking everything that we want to see Moses be into account. For real. For real. Really for real. Just like with Boots, just like with the likes of Canelo early on, Benavidez when he was moving up. This is that moment to find out if the jump is real and if mentally and physically you're ready for what you have coming in front of you. Because history doesn't wait for no man, but it will open the door to say you got some time to walk through. Will you be able to take the step? Or will you trip before you go to the door? We're going to find it out with HRGOVIC. Just like every other great fighter. Without question. The biggest difference is Canelo had other divisions to move up to. Benavidez had other divisions to move up to. Boots had other divisions to go and take those tests. What do I mean? Multiple different chances to open the door and multiple different opportunities of weight class. Oh, he's weight drained down here. You can move up and now we'll see the best of your potential. Benavidez, he won't get the chance with Canelo. And he's struggling to stay at 168 after what, 10 years. Now, okay, it's time to make your legacy start at 175. Now we want to see what you're made of after doing all the other work that, yeah, it meant something, but this next step is the real start. Canelo, 154. Prodigy coming up, everybody's excited. He lost to Floyd. Hey, you lost to Floyd. At least you got this far. Now you can move up to 160 and really start your dominance. This is where the real big time opportunities of Canelo start to arise. Now the prime really does begin. They had time even after failure or concern to go to take the next step, because that's when their actual counting in the public eye of legacy really started to take shape. Ryan Garcia, you got dropped by Tank at 135. You got knocked down by Luke Campbell at 135. You got knocked out by Tank at 135. Hey, you were weight drained. You did all you could down here. Now it's time to move up. And once you move up, now the best of you is going to be here. You got time before we start to really gauge what you fully are, because you aren't your best you up until you go to different areas and different divisions. You got multiple steps before we finally make a declaration. Heavyweight doesn't work like that. Heavyweight does not work like that in the slightest. You don't have multiple divisions to go and make something shake. You don't have multiple excuses, quote unquote, to go and say, hey, I wasn't at my best because of this. You can't say I'm weight drained. You can't say I'm too small. You can't say, oh, he's young and he's growing into his body, and as he matures mentally and physically, moving up, he will get better. You don't have that opportunity to say that at heavyweight, because it's heavyweight. There's no weight drain. There's no weight clause. There's no rehydration needed, and you're fully fleshed out. You are a part of the bracket of the biggest punchers in the world. It's either you get it done or you don't get it done. You can come back, but this is what you are. Every fight up here is indeed what you are up here. Up until you prove otherwise. Perfect example, Daniel Dubois. Don't forget, Daniel Dubois was a prodigy of the UK in his own right. Knockout artist as a Tank. And what happened to him? He went through and did what? He lost to Joe Joyce. And what happened after he lost to Joe Joyce? Hey, somebody tell me what happened. Did he get time to improve? Did he get a chance to go and say, hey, I just wasn't at my best, I'm going to grow and get better? No, none of that happened. You know what took place? Immediately he was labeled as a quitter. He was labeled as a quitter. Knockout heavyweight going into a quitter. His eyeball was almost out of his socket, but guess what? It didn't matter. He was labeled as a quitter for over almost 3 years, up until he beat Jarrell Miller and went on a tear of 3 fights, including knocking out Anthony Joshua before getting beat by Usyk. But the identity of a quitter, even after beating Jarrell Miller, even after beating Philip HRGOVIC, even after beating AJ, still stuck with them, all because of that one fight earlier in his career. And there was no excuse of, hey, he'll get better, he can move up, he's going to go mature, and at this division he'll be different. That is what you are. Heavyweight is the one division you don't have time nor the ability to say, I can grow. Once we deem you as you're built like that up here to be a champion, either you make it or you break it. Caballero, same thing. Same thing. All of them are in the same boat. You can't lose. Big Bang Jane got away with it because most people feel like he should have beaten HRGOVIC when they fought against each other. But if he had lost like he did against Caballero, against HRGOVIC in that first, notable step into the world of elite degrees of boxing, guess what would have been said? We don't care about it no more. He's done. Immediately. It wouldn't have been a grace period. There's no grace period for Moses. He's staring down the barrel. He's staring down the barrel of a shotgun to his reputation with this fight. There's a lot on the line here because there's no turning back from what we've claimed him as. And we saw with Richard Torres. Richard Torres, just like with ITAUMA, was looked at as the next great American heavyweight. After Jared Anderson fell, after Michael Hunter became 38 to 40 something years old, after everybody notable that was out of the States became a non-factor, Richard Torres, silver medalist in the Olympics, came through and everybody was hyping him up against my better judgment. Because I kept on saying he ain't that good. Didn't matter. He kept on winning. Even if they was sloppy, he kept on winning. But once he lost to Frank Sanchez, we have not heard hide nor hair of him. Why? Because he's done as a contender in the public boxing eye. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm saying nobody cares. Because what happened? He was pushed as he's going to be that guy. But if you can't make it once we say you are in the position to make it, at heavyweight, there's no going back. It's going to take a world of work to get back to that same position of degree. AJ at least became champion when he was supposed to and reigned before losing to Andy Ruiz. And even against Andy Ruiz. After losing, guess what everybody said? Yeah, he was never the same. Now, granted, he never fought the same. Ever since that fight, he was indeed never the same, but the point still stood. Once it shifts, it shifts. Wilder, once it shifted, it shifted. This is one of the biggest cutthroat divisions in boxing. Right now, most of the time, staring down the barrel of a shotgun to his reputation, that if he doesn't make it out of this fight with a belt around his waist, or at best a draw, the same noise that was going to be said about him as this guy's next, this guy's it, this guy's got that dog, this guy's got that Mike Tyson element to him, all the praise and hype that's heaped upon him is going to turn into, he was never that great. He was never that good. He was a bum this entire time. Why did we ever believe he could be something in this division? I'm telling you, it's going to turn a complete 180 more drastically than we've seen with most other fighters. Because at heavyweight, there's no room. You are literally at the wall. Either you make it or you don't. And that's it. There's nothing else to say. Because every reason or excuse everybody else would use in other divisions, you're weight drained, you're maturing physically, you're growing into a new division, you're going to get better as you get bigger, all of that gets out the window because none of that applies to heavyweight. None of it. Not one. So he's got to win. Because I'm telling you, when I say the mind can be a dangerous thing, it can be a dangerous thing. And if it goes bad, it's going to be terrible for him and his reputation. Complete 180. Because there's no going back. There's no excuses into this. But let me keep on reading your chats and responses. Let me see. And no excuses after this fight. It will put Moses in the top 3 conversation. If victorious, yeah, if he wins this, mind you, slap and all, if he wins this fight, even with all of this momentum, even with whatever you want to say about HRGOVIC, with whatever you want to say about him as a fighter, however you feel about him, doesn't change the fact this cat, if he does win, it's gonna be straight up. Yeah, he's top. He's top 3. He is probably Usyk, Fury, Moses, or Usyk, Dubois, Moses, or Usyk, Moses, Fury, Dubois. Whatever way you want to put it, he would be in that conversation because this is what we said he could do. Be champ early and do stuff that we haven't seen anybody else do, like knocking out Filip HRGOVIC. The way he wins against HRGOVIC is probably going to dictate how people feel about him. If he knocks out HRGOVIC, especially early, people are going to probably say he's the second best heavyweight in the world. Whether you agree or not, that's what's going to be said. If he knocks out HRGOVIC early, he will be considered the second best heavyweight in the world behind Usyk. Because Fury already said, I don't want no part of him. If he gets Filip HRGOVIC out the way, people probably going to feel like, okay, yeah, he can knock out Anthony Joshua. Deontay Wilder, he's too old, he won't be affected. Usyk, with him beating Rico, with him just barely beating Rico, he might have some trouble going against this cat and might just lose. You're going to have those conversations because, yeah, he's going to be worthy of it. He's going to be worth it because he is indeed that much of a potential special talent in this division right now. If he does win. Let me see. Ain't got more than 2 minutes. Oh, or potential fight of the year. Yeah, he could be fight of the year. He absolutely could be fight of the year if he goes correct. Probably will be one of the most explosive fights, but also could be one-sided. Because HRGOVIC may start quicker than we expect, but he's not gonna be somebody just gonna, he'll make the fight lumbering. He will make it lumbering. But the violence probably gonna come from Moses ITAUMA's end, forcing HRGOVIC into a fight he may not want to have, that even is too fast-paced for the hot starts that we may see HRGOVIC try to start in his own right. That could be a big issue. Let me see. Moses is no Richard Torres. Also, the boxing advisor. How you doing? Good to see you. We thank you so much for tuning into our show and joining in on our live stream. If you haven't already, come on. Be a part of the show. Join in on our stream. Come on and tell people what we got going on. Share the show with everybody that you know and leave a like on our airways so we can help reach the masses all across the globe. But Moses is no Torres. You're absolutely right. Moses is not Richard Torres. Moses should not be Richard Torres. We covered this yesterday. In fact, I got something coming out this weekend, if I can get it cut up and uploaded, about the whole diatribe I went on with Moses ITAUMA compared to Richard Torres. It is night and day. It's completely different. It is not negotiable what they both are as fighters against each other. It is not the same in any capacity of respect. And that's why I expect Moses to be the next dude. Because we're looking at a world where ITAUMA is not like any other prospect in the world of heavyweight. Everybody else is of the same cookie sheet of framework of boxer that is coming up in boxing. Even Terra Moana, T squared, as we call him on this channel, even he is still cut from that same identity of what heavyweights have been over the past 10 to 15 years. Well, or at least over the past decade, when it comes to bigger being better as size and might makes right in the heavyweight division, rather than fleet of foot, speed, better technical ability, and being able to fight like a small man, with stamina like a small man. It's still of that diameter of competition. Even Richard Torres, who was one of the shorter heavyweights in the world, was still somebody who was somewhat cut from that same bulky, stocky, muscular, really sloppy swarmer. His best attribute was his aggression, his stamina, and his ability just to throw without rest. Not necessarily the better boxing skill all around. Even against talent that was supposed to be, you should get him out of there. It's not the same. It ain't. That's why I expect him to be able to be as great as he can. But be clear, Torres, or no matter if I feel that he's better than him, HRGOVIC can stop this whole train. Because the biggest thing about this whole idea, also before I continue, Boxing Pro, how you doing? Good to see you. Salute to you. And thank you for showing up to our live stream on today. We thank you so much. And please keep on liking the stream and sharing the show. But the other thing in regards to this fight as a whole with ITAUMA is the fact that this slap is something that ITAUMA's never dealt with. And again, I'm gonna let you see it so you can see what we're talking about. But this slap is not something that ITAUMA's had to deal with before, because this slap is better technique than he's ever faced. There's no telegraph. He can't. It's scary because of how easy HRGOVIC was able to get that off, even in a non-live fight scenario. Terrence Crawford got slapped by Jose Benavidez Jr. when they were getting ready to fight against each other. He reacted way differently and way better. Hit or not getting hit. He saw something and tried to do something and then responded in kind. Quicker than anybody else could go and try to react. I bring that up because this was the situation. Moses was not even prepared. He couldn't see any tell from HRGOVIC. And I'm not saying HRGOVIC is the most fun. I'm not saying HRGOVIC is the most sleek fighter in the business. But just that alone is better technique than we've seen from anybody else that he's faced off against. Better than Jermaine Franklin, or better than the other 13 fighters that he's had. This is a man who has the ability to sneak ITAUMA before ITAUMA's able to respond. We laud that 1-2 combination because of everything else that HRGOVIC has in his arsenal. That straight right hand, when he isn't doubling over, when he isn't leaning over his punches or leaning over his hip, trying to get to the opposition, he can throw that thing from the shoulder and be able to catch you just like this, but in range where you can't see it because you can't tell it's coming. Later on in the fight, yeah, the tell comes more apparent. The tell becomes more drastic because he's tired. Doesn't change the fact that early on, those first 5 rounds, 6 rounds, HRGOVIC jabbing, boom, jabbing, trying to paw, sees what he can do, boom, just throws. And again, sadly, I gotta punch over my mic so you can see it coming. But in terms of, imagine this, but there's no flex. It's here. It's going it's just there. Even if it's slow or slower, it's coming out in a way that Moses may not register up until it's too late. This is what we are afraid of. And this is what we're saying could be a danger of him elevating his game to the point that he is sure in position to be ready for a title, but to actually be able to win it. Now you're dealing with stuff that, hey, brother, the concern of pushing you so quick, maybe there's some things that you ain't worked on yet. Maybe. As much as we want to hype and love and see you shine, there may be some things that you pushing the envelope might just go and hit you in the back because you aren't ready for those types of clean techniques. Habits that can go be a bad situation. Your eyes aren't trained as best as they should be getting ready for this level of competition. It could very well be that. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen. I'm just saying that's what people can draw from that interaction on stage. Before I continue, let me keep on reading your chats and responses. Like from Love King, how you doing? Good to see you. We thank you so much for tuning in to the show. Also, Boxing Nerd, what's up with you? Thank you for showing up and showing out. Hopefully you'll leave a like on the stream and sharing the show with the masses all across the globe. We are still in the championship rounds. The whole show is championship rounds today, just so you know. So you can ask anything and everything about the world of boxing and beyond, and we will discuss and have our fun with you in your comments, debates, questions, and all manner of sports talk on this show today. Could you all drive the conversation? But let me read your chats on what you had to say. Bud got punished, then swung on him. I don't remember him getting slapped. Yeah, I'm getting the reaction. The reactions. Yeah, Bud got hit. But the reaction to getting hit, you saw there was, even in his body language, before the slap came, he at least tried to, get out the way. It at least registered, even though he got caught. And then he immediately went up through a shot with killer intentions. Immediately afterwards. The issue is the reaction. Not the result, but the reaction. What happens when something happened to you that was unexpected? That's where stuff can get a little bit shaky, at least from that. And again, we're not trying to delve into that too much and say, oh yeah, that's going to tell the whole story of the fight. I'm just telling you from past experiences. We've brought that up in other conversations about pre-fight face-offs leading to somebody getting caught with something that they couldn't see. Next thing you know, that's the very way that they get knocked out in the fight, or that's what beats them in the fight. Getting caught with something they couldn't see because they aren't able to react to what's coming. Even in a live fight scenario. So sometimes stuff does tell the story for the moment. And sometimes it's just hearsay. Next thing you know, he actually gets them out of there. So we're going to find out. But I'm just telling you. It can be interesting. Let me see. Bro, it was a slow slap from Philip. It was. Moses better be on point. You're doggone right he better be. Philip 1-2 was the cleanest. Well, no, hold on now. Wait a minute. Hold on. Whoa. Hold on now. I'm not saying I don't think it's the cleanest. I don't think it's the cleanest in the division. I think Usyk is the best 1-2 in the division from the perspective of how many ways he can land that lead jab going into a straight left. It used to be Deontay Wilder because that 1-2 became a killer. If he threw that jab, that right hand was coming and you had no choice but to either duck or get out the way because you were going to get knocked out at one point in time. Before that, it was Anthony Joshua when he was running the heavyweight division. I don't think HRGOVIC is the cleanest. I will say it is one of the 5 most sound 1-2s that this heavyweight division has to offer. Of everybody that has it as a basis in its game, he uses it more than nearly everybody else. It's polished better than most in this heavyweight landscape. It just lacks a lot of speed. But definitely it's more sound than about 90% of the heavyweight division. I'm not denying that. I think Usyk is the best because of his versatility. How he's been able to go 1-2 downstairs, 1-2 upstairs, 1-2 that can actually lead into a feint. He can do so much with it. HRGOVIC, he can't do as much with this 1-2 combination. But it's so clean and so routine. Yeah, it's more polished than about 90%. So, but it's one of the 5. I dare say maybe one of the 3. Might be one of the 3 best in the division. But either way, it's up there. It's up there, and he better be careful. Moses might beat him into submission. He's gonna have to. HRGOVIC has never been knocked down. I don't think he's ever been knocked down in his career. At minimum, knocked out cold, as in face on the canvas. He's been stopped, but knocked out cold, I don't think that's happened. He's going to need to go and understand his power may not be the most defining factor. But what will be is his speed in this fight. Moses' speed has the opportunity to compound his power. Because you can't knock out HRGOVIC with just one shot. But what you can do is go and hit him 3 times with shots that are quick succession. Nearly equal power. That'll be enough to take him out. David Adelaide almost got Philip HRGOVIC out of there. Need we forget that interaction of a fight? Need we forget? Do we need to remember? I feel like we do. Let's go down memory lane, shall we? Let's go down memory lane. Let's go down memory lane. Did we forget David Adelaide almost got Philip HRGOVIC out of there? And David Adelaide is not is an okay heavyweight, not great, but decent. And that brother went on a flurry of about 10 to 15 punches straight, trying to knock out Philip HRGOVIC to no avail. To no avail. Why? Because he didn't have pop. But what he did do in that onslaught, he made HRGOVIC have to stop throwing. Why? Because the punches were coming too quick for him to respond. Yes, HRGOVIC was dazed, absolutely. But even in the dazed state, HRGOVIC wanted to try to do something, and he couldn't. Because Adelaide, in that one instance, Adelaide's speed and constant barrage was something that HRGOVIC could not respond to in any capacity. And he ended up punching himself out. Most of the time I can punch that same level. And that was David Adelaide punching with every fiber of his being, desperation trying to get HRGOVIC out of there. Because he was almost ready. He was almost gone. Most of the time I can punch at faster than David Adelaide in the same barrage of onslaught, not as a desperation, but as just a baseline of action. He can throw 5 punches as fast as Adelaide in that same instance while not being tired and for the first 8 rounds of the fight. He can do that on multiple occasions. HRGOVIC cannot respond to that. HRGOVIC cannot deal with that. It's the speed that's going to get to him. It's the speed. I'm telling you. That speed, just like what we saw with David Benavidez, that speed covers a lot of what we would perceive as sins in the boxing world. Now, David Benavidez doesn't make a whole lot of mistakes. I'm not saying that in that regard. I'm saying that's what speed does in general. Lets you get away with stuff. Most of the time it can get away with trying to get on the inside of beating HRGOVIC because HRGOVIC may not have the capacity to respond to the power and speed of combinations that we would see Moses throw. And he might just end up shelling up. He might. He just might. Because even if he wants to see the opening, he won't be quick enough to get there. Yeah. Or if he does try to do it, he risks getting caught with a shot that might just catch him. And even though you can't knock him out with just one punch, most likely, you get caught with something you don't see, and immediately afterwards get caught with something else after reacting to what you just got caught with. Next thing you know, now that's a good way to get you knocked out. And that's what can happen to Philip. That's what can happen to Philip HRGOVIC. Because that speed may just be too great for HRGOVIC to be able to be confident in saying, yeah, I can take you on and beat you where you want to go in terms of punching wise. Might just have to shell up. Might just have to shell up. But let me see. As you walk in, Canelo, the king counter sub. He is. Like he did it better than what we've seen. He did it better than nearly everybody. Weaving, leaning back, weaving, catching with a clean right on the side of the head, cut Caleb Plant even before the fight. And it worked out. Same punch, caught him on the same side of the head. It's a punch that knocked him out. All right? Sometimes it tells a story. Let me see. This made the fight more interesting. It absolutely did. It absolutely did. And this is going to be, for ITAUMA's growth as a name in boxing, this is going to be huge for him. Because now there's some buzz around this fight. There's some buzz around this entire event. This moment in HRGOVIC's, or this moment in this whole buildup, right here, you can pinpoint this as potentially one of the most important things that happens to ITAUMA. Because if ITAUMA responds with this happening in the buildup, if ITAUMA responds with this instance of action right here, by knocking out HRGOVIC, the whole mentality behind ITAUMA is going to shift into don't poke the bear. We talk about reputation all the time. Your reputation can precede you if you do it right when it comes to finishing the story in a certain way on a fight-by-fight basis. Cotto versus Margarito. The fight they had to build up because of the plaster and the gloves. Years later, getting that revenge and doing it in a way where you stopped Margarito, that got everybody one of the best, not just one of the best feel-good stories, but it painted Cotto, who already had a legendary career, in an even higher light. Even higher. The whole situation with Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder, their first fight going into their second fight, and Wilder going through and taking them out. Or excuse me, Fury going, Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury, and Tyson Fury taking him out in the second fight. Everybody was like, oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. I can't believe this. He slayed the dragon that we thought was going to be unslayable. We are looking at moments that can go and help change the identity of a fighter for the better and further make their, not ego, but their aura around their name be even more detrimental to the public in a way that they are not just can't miss TV. But now everybody's starting to step lightly around me because you know what I'm about now. And fans gravitate toward it. This could be the moment. If he responds with a KO after this, it could change its entire trajectory for the better, which is already on the up and up. This could cash in a monumental way if this slap leads into a dominant victory for the likes of ITAUMA. It very well could. Let me see. One of the cleanest, if not the cleanest, I won't disrespect Usyk. Yeah, no, absolutely. And again, this isn't disrespect. HRGOVIC is up there. I just think Usyk is better. But no, HRGOVIC is one of the best sound combination of 1-2 punches that we got in the division. Now, that's not a question at all. Let me see. Johnny Blaze, how you doing? Good to see you. We thank you for tuning in and showing up to our live stream. We're talking about ITAUMA versus HRGOVIC. We're talking about the slap and everything, and we're also talking about other things surrounding the boxing world, like with Ryan Garcia potentially becoming an undisputed champion. What's the likelihood of that? Boots Ennis, Josh Kelly in a fight that looks like it's actually going to happen. What do we think we need to see from Boots? Can he go and reach Virgil Ortiz at 160? Could he beat Ortiz at 160 if you see that fight take place? All of that and so much more we're discussing with you all on today's show. So keep on liking the stream, keep on sharing the show, keep on subscribing, and keep on joining in on the fun of conversation. And please, if you can, support the channel. Shameless plug, we got to do it. We got Cash App and PayPal. Links down below in the description. Super chats, super gifts, stickers, super thanks, all that stuff. Jewels, rubies, diamonds, and galore, all for you to help us in supporting this show, because we can't do this without viewers like you, as you make this show oh so special. And we thank you all for tuning in this Friday edition of the Welch Report. But let me keep on reading your chats and responses. Boxing is desperate for a new heavyweight star. That is why they are shoving ITAUMA down our throats. And yes, that is it's a twofold opportunity. Boxing wants a heavyweight dominant star. Yeah. UK has a star that they thought they wouldn't get again for a long time since Anthony Joshua. Now ITAUMA fell into their lap. Boxing's always going to want an exciting heavyweight. That's not the question. Granted, boxing's been pretty good even without, Usyk coming along and changing everything. Yeah, that was great. But even if Usyk wasn't there, everybody would have been pretty decent with what boxing has turned into over the last 3 years, with everybody else doing some good work. The question is now, as a heavyweight star, can he sustain it? Because the hope is Usyk is an all-time great heavyweight, but Usyk didn't have the gravity that we wanted from an all-time great like we have from Anthony Joshua when he was at his prime, or in the 90s and 80s and all that stuff. Where the boxing world is yearning for the heavyweight division to have somebody that the globe can recognize and be in a frenzy for, that also can be the driving force of an entire division. Everybody still brings up Mike Tyson with Moses ITAUMA simply because Mike had a lasting impact on the minds of boxing fans. The mythos of him still sticks in the hearts and minds of people. Same thing with Ali. We think ITAUMA can bring the same destructive force as Deontay Wilder with the actual star ability of winning, like we saw with AJ, with the potential longevity of Usyk at this division. That's the hope, because that combination can go and make everybody want to see him all the time. A generational star that fights the next generation and still wins, or at least is the barometer to beat. That's what ITAUMA could be if he stays in this sport long enough. We haven't had that for a hot minute. We just haven't. Klitschko was dominant, but he didn't. But the division at that point in time was seen as born. Now, the era that Klitschko fought in, people can say, all they want to say about it. Klitschko was still an all-time great heavyweight. Don't get that twisted. But Klitschko also fought in a division that, for the majority of the time, people would say, it wasn't really bereft with deep, laden talent. Understandable. Moses, right now, is in a weird spot in his career where most of the greats that were great are about to leave the sport. And most of the people that are young are right behind Moses' talent. He's literally going to be the potential armor bearer for the full page turning of the next division of heavyweight. We're looking to see what this new chapter of a division is going to be. And if it's exciting like we think so, heavyweight boxing could be back. It very much could be. Moses has the potential opportunity to go and be a global star early, very early in his boxing career. That's hard to do. That's very hard to do. Most of the time it can reach all four corners of the globe because of his ferocity, because of his no-nonsense mentality, because of his willingness to go and say, I just want to knock everybody out. The idea of a heavyweight just wants to kill all the time. Everybody loves it. Why do you think Deontay Wilder, specifically in America, was one of the most polarizing figures in the boxing world? It's because people gravitated around, this guy wants to catch a body. Literally saying, I want a body on my resume. We were so enthralled with Deontay Wilder because he went publicly and said, I want to kill somebody in the ring. That is my actual goal. Do you know the last time legitimately, we're not talking about euphemisms, it was legitimate. He wanted to make somebody die in the ring. The last time we heard somebody like that say that was George Foreman in the 70s. That's the last time somebody was so outright in their disdain for their opposition, no matter who they are, and made it a point. I want you to die when I fight you. He was trying to actually kill Muhammad Ali. He said that himself, not euphemisms. I was trying to kill him. That's why everybody was so scared for Muhammad Ali, because George Foreman literally wanted to kill Muhammad Ali in the ring legally. That was his goal. It made him hate it. Sure. But the lasting impact made him one of the most intriguing heavyweights that the world had ever seen, because there's just so much violence surrounding him. You could not look away. The same thing with Mike Tyson. You couldn't look away, even though this brother was so deliberately and aggressively violent in all aspects of the boxing world and life in general. His own perspectives on what he did. That's his own approach to what he said he was doing in boxing. He hated everything and everyone. This is what, as much as we say we don't want that to happen, and we don't want that to happen, Stuff like that is what makes the public want to see you fight. Either you're a beloved figure that the public wants to go and say, oh, we want to see you win. Ali, we want to see you win. Ali went from hated to the most beloved. Well, they used to hate him talking. Now they wanted to hear him talk all the time because he became a fixture of not just charisma, but just a great, we can put our hopes and pride in you as a fighter. You represent something now more than what we ever expected. We can't, Manny Pacquiao, same thing. Pride of the people became the pride of the globe at one point in time. While Floyd became hated. Each side of the coin requires a different metric. Most of the time right now is leaning towards that dark side of the coin. With his mentality, with his attitude, with his aggression, with his surgical-like destruction, and the willingness to already say, yeah, you better respect me because I'm already this great. It ain't cocky. It ain't arrogant. This is the truth. I'm that bad of a dude, and you're gonna, whether you like me or not, you're gonna give me my respect. And people want to see that in the ring, and people want to see that win because that can lead to, hey man, we know what this brother's about. He's going to try to put somebody to sleep. He's going to try to destroy some lives, and everybody's here for it. Everybody wants to see it take place because we can't look away. That type of heavyweight is something that the public yearns for, whether we like it or not. And Moses can fit that mold. Because the one thing we can say about everybody, people keep on saying the same thing about Tank, Deontay Wilder, Mike Tyson, and others. Man, the sport was better when they were in it because we just knew on any given night he was just trying to destroy some folks. We knew business was picking up, to quote Jim Ross, whenever they would step on the scene. Mike was just different. Mike was just ferocious. Mike was just a dog. Oh my gosh. All of that stuff. That's how they felt. Deontay Wilder, no matter how much his skill set was bad, people kept saying, this guy's a killer. Oh, this man, it's something so different about him. He just wants to put people in the dirt. Put people in the grave. He's ruthless. He doesn't care. He's relentless. I want to see that because I know when he comes out, somebody's life is at risk. I got to see this man go through because destruction is imminent. The end is nigh when it comes to Deontay, and I want to see the end. That's how everybody felt about him. That's how they felt.
Hey, look at us. We got some problems
They
here.
want that.
We got some problems here.
They desire that. Whether it's fair or not, they want that. Makes people want to see what happens. The chaos of it all. Most of the time right now brings a level of chaos that the people in the heavyweight division or fans of heavyweight boxing yearn to see. They yearn to see it. Where you can't look away lest somebody gets knocked out. You can't look away unless somebody goes and gets put to sleep. They want the chaos of the moment more than just the sweet science. But if you can bring the best of both worlds, that's even better. That's what ITAUMA brings. And that's why he is so vaunted. That's why they want to get into a championship early. Not just because of the record, not just because of being the next Mike Tyson, quote unquote. It's because he brings a level of destruction, doing it in a way that people just want to see over and over and over again. Like what they had with Deontay Wilder. If you can replicate that with good skill sets, you doggone right, yeah. People gonna eat it up. Eat it up. Without question. It's good that this is happening. People said that boxing is dead. I hope not. Yeah, no, it is. It is good that it's happening. What do we want to say? That, and again, we have more to cover on this show. Be clear, we're not just trying to talk only on Moses ITAUMA. We do, we got a wide audience. We don't want to. We want to make sure we catch everybody. But It's good that this is happening. This will be the last point before we move on. It's good that this is happening because Moses, for the heavyweight division, we need somebody to fit that role of who's next. Now, Caballero, you could argue, should have been in that position. However, the issue was, notoriety-wise, it wasn't nearly as known, even though he should be in position for a world title. Boxing in heavyweight needs somebody to be that anchor character. The anchor being the next it guy for who they should follow. The main character in the story. Right now the public's saying, ITAUMA, that's the guy. Sometimes they don't reach that same threshold, but sometimes they do, and in this situation they do. Or he's got the potential to. And because of that, if boxing can get this face at heavyweight as the man that everybody wants to focus on, that's also leading the charge, if he can beat HRGOVIC, it'll be better for the heavyweight division. Doesn't mean he's just going to win outright, but it'll be better for the heavyweight division if it did take place. And it would help boxing as a whole if it did as well. It would. Boxing in the heavyweight division might just have their second lease on life if he beats HRGOVIC. If ever it could be, without a doubt. Let me see. Are you calling the fight this weekend? No, I'm not going to be calling the fight. Like I said yesterday, I'm going to be out for a wedding this weekend. Got to go and support the Mr. and Mrs. Little. Congratulations to you all on getting married. Hey, but I'm going to come see you. I can't wait to see y'all tie tonight. It's going to be phenomenal. Shout out to y'all and your great eloping together, joining life in matrimony. I can't wait to see it over there. I'm going to go and see it. A good friend of mine, I'm going to go watch him get married and all that stuff and have a bunch of fun, hang out, go and celebrate the auspicious occasion, as well as try to steal some gifts and then try to take some stuff home, if you know what I mean. But I hope he ain't watching the show. So, but in all seriousness, I won't be able to call the fight, but I will be covering it on Tuesday. But I won't be able to call it because I'll be out of town. So I won't be here. But don't worry, we got some stuff planned. Don't worry, mark my words, we got some stuff planned. I can guarantee you, but I won't be calling the fight. Sadly, well, not sadly, but I won't be able to see it with you all. But watch it regardless, because this could be either make or break, and you don't want to see what takes place. Trust me, mark my words. But as we continue, we still want to make sure we cover the rest of the show. This is still the championship rounds. Be very clear. It's still the championship rounds. It's still the championship rounds. And we want to cover everything around the world of boxing and beyond. More specifically, we want to be able to cover the question of Ryan Garcia. And this is a big topic that we need to discuss in the framework of boxing, strictly because we are 2 weeks away from Ryan Garcia versus Conor Benn. A very big deal for Ryan Garcia to keep his hopes alive of becoming undisputed if he really does want to go down that road. Yes, Devin Haney and others are still, the names are still the biggest thing. But the other thing is the titles. And with the titles come a need to succeed. And if we are going to see Conor Benn lose to Ryan Garcia against the rest of the public, can we actually see Garcia be an undisputed champion here at welterweight? Because we keep on lauding that this brother made this is the best that we've seen Ryan Garcia to date. We keep bringing this up as a talking point that Ryan Garcia at 147 looks to be the best he's ever been since getting surgery on his hand and fighting and beating Mario Barrios. Whether you respect or don't respect Mario Barrios doesn't change the overall reaction of the public. Hey, this cat is what we see him as, which is the fullest of his potential right now. Lest we also forget he's been working with James Toney over the course of the last couple of weeks. And months getting ready for this very fight. This could also lead to him having an opportunity to be even better than what we've seen from this best version of Garcia versus Barrios. we could all of a sudden see him turn into an even bigger menace to society, an even more dangerous threat to the world of boxing as a whole. If this training with James Toney turns into a fighting opportunity that leads him to be more dangerous, more lethal, more destructive, and more outright capable of becoming undisputed. From the body to the physique to the ability, everything surrounding him. I mean, just look at him. I mean, take a look at him. This is what he looks like right now. This is how Ryan Garcia looks today. Compare that to what we had seen with Conor Benn not even a couple of hours ago yesterday. It's night and day. It's night and day. And I bring this up because that framework of body coupled with the elevated level of ability, he has everything to be able to beat everybody here. Whether we think he's skillfully able to is a different question. But the one half of the equation of his ability to go and beat the globe at welterweight, physically, can he go and do the job? He could. Because physically, if it ain't Devin Haney, he's probably the best physical weaponized fighter that we have up here. It's either Devin Ryan or Teal. And Teal all around, sure. The Gordo Lopez slick and all that stuff, absolutely. But from a dimension standpoint, it's probably Ryan Garcia. It's probably Ryan Garcia that reaches that threshold. So that half of the equation, could he dominate physically the rest of this division? Yes, he can. It's the skill that we have to be concerned about whether or not it's going to catch up. Will it or won't it? We got to find out. Beyond just Conor Benn. And do you think he's capable? I want to hear your thoughts and opinions. But let me go reading your chats real quick. I don't believe Ryan beat Devin, or Ryan can beat Devin at 147 pounds. And I'm going to say this. Ryan Garcia beating Devin Haney at 140, with him being overweight and the PEDs, sullied that performance. But what he did in that performance was exactly what I predicted would happen, thinking the fight was going to be clean if Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney had fought clean. And you can go back and watch the breakdown. What I said of how he could beat him was exactly how he beat him. It just so happens that it was PEDs, which sullied the whole thing. But if they fight again at this division right now, even with Devin Haney getting better, I'm starting to think that Ryan may just have Devin Haney's number in the pro ranks of boxing. Because they split 6-6 in the amateurs. They did. But I think the pro style of what this fight can be versus what the amateur style was when they fought 6 times fits the stylistic matchup more in favor of Ryan Garcia. It does. Because I think the way that he uses his speed and frame of strength is something in a way that Devin Haney, I just don't think he can beat against that guy. I don't think he can. I just don't. I'm really concerned if it was clean. I'm very concerned that even in a clean PED-free fight, Ryan Garcia would still beat Devin Haney. Because I just think he's built to be able to beat him. Kind of like with George Foreman and Joe Frazier. Joe Frazier's my favorite fighter of all time. Legit. Some of the best head movement we've ever seen in heavyweight. The best left hook we've ever seen in boxing history. A warrior amongst warriors, all that stuff. Doesn't change the fact that he was built for George Foreman to beat stylistically. He was just built for George Foreman to be handed on a platter, no matter what he did. I'm getting concerned that might be Devin Haney to Ryan Garcia. Stylistically, how they fight, fundamentally, it's just built that even if it was clean, the same thing would happen. Now, I could be wrong, But if I'm not wrong, you could see a repeat of that same performance. Because the same stuff I said that would have worked previously may still work now, even with clean, no issue. Because though Devin Haney has gotten better, Ryan Garcia got better in the same respect. Different skill sets, but they both improved. And so it ain't like Devin Haney left Ryan Garcia in the dust when he moved up to 147. Ryan Garcia, after beating Mario Barrios, everybody was saying the same thing, myself included. Hey, brother, that fight still is warranted because we just saw both of them look completely different. In a way that this is still a fight we need to see because something's there. Something's there. Absolutely something's there. So I'm telling you. Even though I know the PEDs sullied the performance, I'm really getting the feeling if Garcia and Devin Haney fought against each other, Ryan would still beat Devin Haney because Devin Haney's built for Ryan Garcia to beat. Stylistic. I might be wrong, but if I'm not, you could see a repeat performance, genuinely. But let me keep on reading your thoughts and opinions. He has a better chance against Tio. And speaking of which, he actually brought up fighting against Tio from Lopez. And I'm going to read that quote to you right now. But hold on, Cali Monk, what's going on with you? How you doing? Good to see you. Welcome to the show. Salute to you. We thank you for showing up and showing out on our live stream today. Keep on liking the stream, sharing the show, and telling everybody that you know that this is the hottest place to be on the hottest show in all the globe right here on YouTube and on every platform of podcast imaginable. As I'm taking a sip of my coffee, but let me keep on reading your thoughts and opinions on the day. What's up, family? How's it going? How you been? Hopefully you've been doing well. Hopefully you've been doing phenomenal. I've been doing great, and so I can't wait to keep on being here on this show with you all. Let me see, who would be the A side if that fight was to happen? I would argue right now they might be on an even playing field. As an outright star, Ryan Garcia it's still bigger because of streaming. But that gap has closed significantly, especially since the Debo Devin Haney moniker has really taken to Devin's career. Everybody's saying the same thing. People are scared to fight Devin Haney. Shakur and Keyshawn Davis backed out of the fight. Both of them didn't take the fight. We've seen this man get ducked by two of some of the most polarizing figures in the sport. One of whom is a top 10 pound for pound level talent in Shakur Stevenson. Top 5 in a lot of people's books. Myself included. Guess what that means? Devin Haney up here is a monster. People don't want to deal with that. It has drawn his name way bigger than what it was 2 years ago when they first fought against each other. I'm telling you, Ryan Garcia may still be the A side. It's a lot closer in notoriety because of recent events that has pushed Devin Haney's name really out into the ether of the boxing world. You're absolutely right. So it might be A side, B side still. Ryan may still be the A side as a selling fighter, but Devin Haney's closed that gap significantly because of the work he's done since that fight and what's happened outside the ring since that whole situation with people not wanting to fight him. I'm telling you, it's a different landscape. It's a different day. It's a different day with Devin Haney. That's the thing. It's a way different day. So I'd say Devin, but I would say Ryan, but it's neck and neck now, or a lot closer. Because again, we're hearing, $100 million deals. We're hearing multi-million-dollar opportunities for other fighters. Multiple fighters in multiple divisions are trying to go after Devin Haney, and then stepping away. The public perception of Devin has shifted significantly. And people want to see that fight for revenge for Devin Haney. Yes, it's a different world now. It's a way different world right now. And the build-up might be a lot closer than you think. And the contract for that fight, if it does happen, might be a lot more 50-50 split than you may think would be. But one more thing, I want to make sure I keep on covering this because he, in terms of Ryan Garcia, the other aspect of that, you brought up him fighting against Teofimo Lopez. His best opportunity would be to fight Teo if he wanted to beat the other dominant champions. In terms of Ryan, Teo, Devin Haney, Liam Parra for the battle for Undisputed. If you think Teofimo Lopez is the guy that he will be best at beating, you might be right because he's feeling like, hey, he thinks he can beat him too. As you can see in this quote, I will beat the brakes off of Teofimo Lopez. This is Ryan Garcia in a quote, talking to Fight Hype in response to a potential unification bout between Ryan Garcia and Teo for the titles at welterweight. Yeah. It seems like he wants that smoke. Now, granted, he said he's wanted smoke for a whole bunch of people. Let's keep it a buck. He said this same thing about Devin, about Shakur, about Terrence Crawford, about everybody in multiple different weight classes. He's just talking about he wants to fight. We get it. He's bringing the same level of confidence into every single opportunity of aggression against him, which he doesn't duck smoke either. He's been fighting everybody that he can, which is no problem to me. I love it. If he was to fight Teofimo Lopez, though, of the big names, this might be the one that he can take. Why? Not just because of the speed, not just because of the frame, but it's because of something that Timothy Bradley said to Teofimo Lopez in regards to Teo's style as a fighter. And this was shortly after his fight with Rolly Romero. Timothy Bradley brought up a very good point in regards to Teo's ability to be able to win going forward in the land of the boxing world. But hold on, before we do, wait a minute. Hold on. Before we do, we got paid. Wait a second. Hold on, we got paid $10 from, wait a second. Rare Breed Boxing Talk. We appreciate you on the show. Thank you for the 10 bones on our live stream. Yes, indeed. We appreciate the alms to the empire and the love and support that you give to the channel. We thank you so much for you tuning in. Hopefully you're enjoying the show. Hopefully you're having a phenomenal time. We want to hear your thoughts and opinions on the show and on the topics of discussion. Like I said, it's the championship rounds, so you can talk about anything and everything in the world of boxing or beyond in the sports world, NBA, NFL, and others. That's what we do every Friday. But let me hear what you had to say with your $10 super chat. I agree about Ryan just might still have Devin's number on the rematch, which I think will be them both fighting for the undisputed title in the end. Okay. So you're saying, you're feeling that the end goal is going to be a rematch of the ages between Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney with fireworks aplenty.
Hey, look at this. We got some problems here.
I'm going to tell you.
We got some problems here.
I'm going to tell you. We got some problems, but in a good way. In a very good way. Because of the different dimensions of the fight. We got some problems because that fight, even if we want to say Ryan Garcia and Devin, Ryan may have Devin's number. We cannot overlook that Devin being different can sully everything. It really can. Because he has fixed issues that arose when he fought against Ryan Garcia. He's not letting that right hand go off his chin when he's trying to throw that jab at him. He's working with James Toney, or worked with James Toney, to get better at fighting in the pocket, which is where he struggled against Ryan Garcia. He's added a different level of power since he's moved up in divisions. Yes, he has. At the same breath, still some questions arise about finishing the job, because at stinking at 147 when he fought against Brian Over Jr., he knocked him down, and he could have knocked him out. Let's be real. He could have knocked him out if he really went for it. If he really went for it for more than 30 seconds, he could have knocked out Ryan Garcia. Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. He could have knocked out Brian Over Jr. That's what I was trying to say. There we go. There we go. He could have knocked out Ryan Garcia. Or he could have knocked out Brian Over Jr. if he went for it for longer than 30 seconds. let his foot off the gas, and then did what he's done all the time, which is simply fight conservatively and not risk anything going into the second half of the fight. Clinch and hold, hug and tug, keep them close, sit down by the fire. Why? Because we're cuddled up together, because we are indeed not going anywhere after round 7, because we ain't trying to fight. We just trying to keep our lead. Because I've done too much for you to come back unless you knock me down. So I ain't got to do nothing else. We don't like that about Devin Haney. If he fights like that against Ryan Garcia, you better believe we're going to have some problems. But if he's not fighting as conservatively, even at the back end of the fight, it's a whole different league of competition that we can see with Devin Haney. In a good way, that I want to see tested against Ryan Garcia. It is a different world that we've seen from Ryan, that we've seen from Ryan and Devin. Devin specifically, we can see something really good. We can see something really good. But in terms of Teofimo Lopez, I do want to make sure I cover what I had with Teo if we do see Ryan face off against Teo. But let me keep on reading. Hold on. We got paid again. Hold on a minute. Wait a second. Hold on. $10 super chat from again Rare Breed Boxing. We appreciate you giving more alms to the Empire without a doubt. Let me see what you have to say. And again, we thank you for the support. It does mean the world to this channel. Whatever you can give, and just you being here is enough for us, because you all are the driving force and the lifeblood of this community, and we don't take anything for granted, no question about it. And we thank you so much for your generosity to our show. But let me keep on reading your thoughts and opinions. James Tony has been helping Ryan Garcia also with his Philly shell in his training camp now for counterbid. See, you beat me to the punch, doggone it. See, you're taking my shine. Hey, brother. Hey, who's running this show, son? You can't be reading my notes. This was the next point of conversation that we were going to cover, delving into Teo and with this conversation with Devin Haney as to why that fight could be different. See, you're skipping too far ahead, dang it, but we love it because we're on the same page. Let me play this clip when it comes to Teofimo Lopez, and it's going to roll into this very conversation that we have with James Toney, training both Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia. It's going to delve into it. So let me go. Let me not waste any more time. Let's switch gears. Let's go and wrap this all in a bow for this segment of the show. And let's start connecting some dots, shall we? Let's go to picture in picture. Let's play what Teofimo Lopez in the conversation with Teo and Ryan is going to connect back to James Toney. Just trust me. In this hypothetical matchup for Unified, Timothy Bradley brought up some issues with Tony, or with with Devin Haney's, not Devin Haney. Good God, see, y'all got me out of sorts. All this money got me thinking strange. Timothy Bradley talked with Teofimo Lopez about an issue with his game going into the next steps of his tenure to try to go out there undisputed in his own right. It could play a big factor if he fights against Ryan Garcia. It's going to wrap back into James Toney. Just trust me. But let me play this clip first, and I'll let you all get back to the conversation afterwards.
Of flaws that you need to work on, especially that jab. Because you bring the jab down, you start it here, you shoot it up, and then you bring it back low. Yep. And he timed you over the top. And it was the same punch that Kambosos hit you with. The same exact punch. Like, that's something you got to go back and you got to correct, man. Why I keep getting hit with these big right hands, looping right hands. So
no, yeah, you know what it was, and I see that. No, but this is the perfect thing about these fights, and it only gets us better, right? As you go on and you succeed. It's I totally forgot when I throw the power jabs. It's really right here, keeping this up at the same time.
There's some.
Timothy Bradley's right. And I'm glad Teo sees that, yeah, there is something that needs to change. However, the same shots keep on landing. The hooks keep on catching Teo. And even with Teo recognizing it, Teo is not going to fix it. Why? Because his father isn't going to train him to fix it and be a better fighter. As I've said before on previous shows, Teo's dad is not a good trainer for Teo to be a better boxer than he is right now. He will not improve unless he leaves him. But that's another conversation. Talking about what works against Teo, the hooks. And when it comes to Ryan Garcia, that's one of his bread and butter. and it works out flawlessly. But out of his offense, we've also complained about Ryan Garcia's defense as well. We're going to leave that for granted. And in talking about that, this is where the James Toney conversation comes into play. James Toney training with Ryan Garcia, which is something that we've seen him do with also Devin Haney, but specifically with Ryan Garcia. I think it will work out that Ryan Garcia working with James Toney may just be even more dangerous for the division than Devin Haney working out with James Toney. Because against T.O., if he can use that Philly shell correctly, effectively, he can catch him with looping hooks and better straight counters that can go through that guard when that jab is down. Devin Haney could do that same thing, sure, because he's also working Philly shell operating in the pocket. The difference with why it would work for better for Ryan than with Devin is not because of ability. It's because of mentality. Ryan Garcia's mentality of a more offensive-driven fighter aligns better with the way that James Toney always wanted to fight and always fought in his career. 75-4, one of the more dominant counterpunchers we've ever seen in boxing history. He lost to Roy Jones Jr., but the only times he really lost was up against people that were different breeds or when he moved up well beyond his own weight class of persona. Well beyond. This cat was a monster for his entire career. We're looking at a man who he was always centered around, I'm going to hurt you while being clean. Devin Haney doesn't want to hurt you, but he wants to be clean. Ryan Garcia doesn't necessarily care about being clean, but he wants to hurt you. And now, even in the midst of him trying to figure out the Philly shell on his own, he still never lost that offensive mentality. That's what Devin Haney lacks when it comes to the ability to be a better Philly shell fighter. Because Devin Haney fighting in the pocket can be lethal. Absolutely lethal. And no, without a doubt. But the question with this blending of styles is how will Devin Haney gel with the new frame of mind? Because if you train with James Toney to do certain things, you're going to have to commit to planting your feet and being able to trust that your defense is going to carry into your offense without you needing to be scared to get hit, without you needing to rely on nullifying the opposition by simply clinching and holding. It's going to take that to be able to maximize the stuff that James Toney teaches you. Because James Toney is not like Floyd. James Toney is not like Napoleon Loche from way back in the, I want to say, 50s when he fought. Record was like 100, what was it, 112 and like 6 or 120 and 4, one of those two. One of the greatest defensive fighters I've ever seen. Look him up if you haven't already, if you get the chance to. Phenomenal. But it's James Toney's Philly shell oriented identity is nowhere close to them from the perspective of what the goal is. The goal is to not get hit or hit and not get hit first. It's not the other way around. The sweet science involves the sweetness of the punches, the sweetness of counterpunching. That is what aligns better with the offensive mind of Ryan Garcia. The mentality, the deliberate pressure that Garcia wants to hold over his opposition. The same pressure that he wanted to hold on Devin Haney. If James Toney is training with both of them, I think it may just be that it's going to gel better for Ryan Garcia. This ain't because I'm saying it won't work for Devin Haney. It's because Devin Haney's identity as a fighter is not going to let him do everything that Toney's teachings would want him to do, even though they would work for Devin Haney. Because he's got the reaction time to be able to sit, feet planted, use head movement, use his waist, to be able to duck down or lean back, to throw the straight right, to be able to throw sharp combinations right in front of your opposition, to be able to stand and walk down your opponent, or even when it's against the ropes, you're still fighting as if you're on the front foot, even though your back's against the wall, and you don't need to rely on just holding to be able to go and stop the offense. You can hit him. You can do what James Toney did to Iran Barkley. That could be what we see from Devin Haney, but he's not mentally capable of committing to that like he would need to. Ryan is, though. Ryan is. And because Ryan is more laden to have that gelling of style that can lead to Conor Ben's going to be in trouble. Teofimo's going to be in trouble. And Devin Haney, if they fight, could also be in a world of trouble. Because both of them may try to use the same tactics, but somebody's going to commit a little bit more. A lot more, actually. That's going to be Ryan. Because it still revolves around manipulating the inside. Repositioning instead of just holding and stopping. Having the ability to keep control once that distance is made instead of just simply backing out. That fits Ryan Garcia to a T way more than it does for Devin Haney. Though it can be a great opportunity for Devin Haney to be a very dangerous fighter, even more so than he is right now. It's like the Omnitrix, for those of you that watch Ben 10. The Omnitrix can latch onto the arms of people. But it takes somebody to be able to maximize being able to get all the aliens. Because you understand, hey, I'm willing to sit in a different space. Or the Venom symbiote for Spider-Man fans. Anybody fan of Marvel? The symbiote gels well with different people. It gels, and it wanted to gel with Spider-Man. It wanted to gel with Flash or Brock. One time it chose to gel with the Hulk and Wolverine. Lord knows that was a match made in heaven. At least for one of them, anyway. But the symbiosis of working together is what makes that Venom suit, that symbiote, so dangerous. Carnage, another one. Sadistic in all regards. Certain people can't work with that symbiote. Others can't. It ain't for everybody. That's what James Toney's teachings are. It's not for everybody. Because there's a different type of thinking that you have. There's a different type of commitment, to offensive weaponry that Devin Haney, for the entirety of his career, even when he's been able to be more destructive offensively, he's never wanted to do that because he's never been built like that as a fighter. So it may not take to him in the same way that it's taken to other boxers, like I think it will when it comes to Ryan Garcia. But again, that's just my 2 cents on the matter. I still want to hear your thoughts and opinions on it all. But after keep going through, we still want to hear, we still want to see what you had to say on the day. Like with Moonman. Moonman, how you doing? Good to see you. To salute to you, and thank you for showing up to our live stream on today. He's going to counterpunch the mess. It's going to be nasty. No, listen, hold on. He's going to counterpunch. Oh yeah, he is. He's going to counterpunch the mess out of it. He's gonna counterbend to if this style does blend well for Ryan. He's going to counterpunch the mess out of him. He's going to kill him. He's going to destroy him. Especially since Conor Ben is looking, again, like a dehydrated piece of meat. We cannot overlook the difference in ability of two fighters that in all actuality are completely separate in their capacity to be the best in what they are. Because Conor Ben, again, is looking so bad compared to what we thought he would look like at 175. I'm serious. We showed this yesterday. My goodness, this is terrible. This is disgusting in all manner of light. This is disgusting from the perspective of we are seeing Conor Ben in a vulnerable state where he's going to get hurt because physically he stripped everything from himself to make this division. He's already said it's going to be the last fight of his career at this division. And you doggone right. He cannot make this. He can't make this division comfortably. At all. At all. He's looking like what Ryan Garcia used to look like at 135. It's going to be a dangerous place. And he's going to get Ryan Garcia doesn't have to do anything different to beat Conor Benn, in my estimation, than what he did against Mario Barrios. Because even through the guard, Conor Benn probably going to get knocked back because that brother may not have the fortitude physically at this division to take the punishment at welterweight. Not anymore. He's stripping away potentially muscle. He looks ripped and shredded, but even rehydrating, he's not going to be at 100%. And Ryan Garcia is going to be able to be completely healthy and be bigger, significantly bigger. It's going to be like when he fought Chris Eubanks Jr., but he's at an even further back burner than that fight. Weight-wise, it's going to be bad. I'm telling you, it's going to be bad. That's what I'm saying. I think he's going to get knocked out. He looks like he has been vacuum sealed. He looks like he's vacuum sealed. I'm not saying that to be mean or just to poke fun. I'm saying that because that is the straits, or that is the strain that he's putting his own body through to get down here to 147. Sure, it's for a big fight. We've already had questions about you with PEDs or the lack thereof being able to even carry power. Now you're going to have a situation where you don't have any power. You might lose some speed because you lost some physical ability potentially, and you're more vulnerable to get caught and hurt with a shot. And your best weapon you won't even be able to use in the best of accordance. There's going to be some concern. Deservedly so, when this is the outlook of what you have in your current stable of framework of body. I'm concerned. I really am concerned, and we should be. And understand, this could be him still not on weight. He could be pushing the scales and still just make it, or even be potentially a couple grams off. There's a real world where that could be the case. It's going to be a toll, man. I'm telling you, it's going to be a big time toll for him to be able to make this. If he can make it happen, I mean, hey, props to you. But if he can't, it's going to be something reckless, I can promise you. And speaking with the training of James Toney, I know we talked about it, but let me actually play some clips of what Toney is teaching Ryan in getting ready for this fight with Conor Benn, because I'm telling you, when we say he's going to counter him, you doggone right. Let me just show you exactly what I mean with the gelling of styles that we can see with Ryan Garcia and James Toney. And that type of work fits exactly what Ryan Garcia wants to do. It allows Garcia to still be planted to leverage all of his power without needing to sacrifice, I don't know how to operate once you get too close to me. Because don't forget, this is where Ryan Garcia's range is still mid-range. Ryan Garcia's range is still the mid-range game. That hasn't changed in his entire career. Also, let me see, you, Moon Man, you say that speed off that counter is deadly. You Buller, you see what I'm saying? Like, you see how great this can work for Ryan Garcia. It can work for Devin Haney too, but with what Garcia's already has, it looks like it can be devastating, even if it's not nearly as polished, simply because it gives Garcia another door that wasn't open before with his ability to fight. We remember when he started doing the Ryan role against Oscar Duarte. It started with Devin Haney, then it tried to evolve, but it turned out worse against Oscar Duarte, where he would just shell up, completely turn his back to his opponent, and he couldn't do anything. Mario Barrios, same thing. He couldn't do anything once he turned into a defensive state. He wasn't getting hit, but he also was not having any openings to do anything otherwise. There was a point in time where he was just stuck up until he reset and went and did the whole dance all over again. But in looking at this now, this is different. This is different. This type of work helps him. This type of work elevates him. This type of work fits with the speed, with the combinations, with the opportunities of what he can throw at short distances with still leverage on the ropes, in the middle of the ring, even if somebody's trying to jump in. Conor Benn trying to land something. And we know Conor Benn loves to overextend. If Conor Benn throws that straight right and it bounces off the shoulder like with James Toney, that uppercut hook combination, that's coming. That's coming. The naked straight right, now that we know that Ryan Garcia's hands are healthy, that is coming. All of that's coming from Ryan Garcia now. Because need we forget what happened when Conor Benn got Chris Eubanks Jr. on the ropes when in both of their fights? The urgency of aggression, but also somewhat the grazing and off-center shots that we were seeing Conor Benn throw that landed off the shoulder, that opened up opportunities for uppercuts, for hooks, for straights. It's a perfect storm of a perfect cocktail of danger. This is just the final piece to that puzzle of what we were saying. Conor Benn is built and fights in a way that is perfect for Ryan Garcia to get a highlight reel KO. The only piece of the puzzle was Ryan Garcia, in certain respects, where Conor Benn elevates, or rather is able to be where he wants to be in close quarters, Ryan Garcia is somewhat limited once it gets to that range. Mid-range and even long range, he can operate at. But close range is not as a sound of deliberate offense. The attempt is there, but it's not as workable. But this is the final piece of that puzzle. This makes that idea of close quarter combat workable. More than workable, it sets somebody up to get put out. Because he throws this shot so quick, you doggone right, off of that Philly shell, once he turns around off that guard, and you can see it right here on screen. Shots coming. Way quicker than somebody can react to or prepare for. Because they don't expect Ryan Garcia to have that level of ingenuity when the fight gets too close. So this can be effective. This can be dangerous. This can be lethal for the likes of Ryan Garcia. And I'm telling you, when we talk about the biggest thing about this whole conversation was built on the question of, can Garcia become undisputed? That's what this whole thing was built off of. With this Philly shell in mind, with that idea of working counters off of a defensive inside posture, if he adds that to his tool belt, he can knock out Tia. He can beat Devin Haney again. He can get Poirot out of there. And he could very well be the last man standing in the world of an undisputed identity. All he needed was a Philly shell. All he needed was something to help him in close quarter combat. Ryan Garcia lacked that one ability to be elite with all the other elite speed, power, size, strength, and even being able to be dominant in the mid-range. That close range area was always one of the weaker parts of his game. But with James Toney, that Philly shell, it turns that weakness into a strength. And it turns Ryan Garcia into, if he adds that and it works, undisputed, you doggone right, he may just be able to beat everybody. Because that one aspect hits on just about everybody's weakness. Because his speed can get to the gap that is left in the holes in the other's games. The only issue was he didn't have the plan of what needed to be done to do it. And now he does. And because he has that now, it's a whole new world. It's a whole scarier world for the welterweight division. But it can happen. Mark my words. It can absolutely happen. But let me keep on reading your thoughts and opinions, and let me make sure we keep on covering the rest of this show, because we still have more to cover in the world of boxing, like with Boots Ennis. Let's not forget that fight is still something that we want to see coming against Josh Kelly at 154. That looks to be the next fight on the table for the likes of Boots Ennis' career. Yes, we are excited, but we're also concerned because even in the midst of one of the more polarizing fighters in our current era of boxing that everybody's hyped up with, just probably so, we're still looking at him against Virgil Ortiz as the biggest fight that people want to have to make happen. As we covered earlier, Virgil Ortiz is moving up to 160 pounds, so now the biggest fight that he can make in terms of Boots Ennis is Sebastian Fundora at this current point in time. But I'm asking a question to look ahead into the future, because I wanted to see your thoughts and opinions on this topic of Boots versus Virgil at 160. Based on what we've seen from them right now, is there an opportunity that Virgil Ortiz at 160 may be too dangerous for Boots Ennis going up to a bigger division? In your minds, because we need to ask, how much does that make Virgil Ortiz better? Again, we're looking down the road. I understand. I'm not trying to go and just be like, oh yeah, we know this fight's coming. It could very well not happen, ever, as we've seen with other fights. But if it did come to a head and we got to have that fight take place, there's a necessity to ask the question, well, could he beat him at 160? Because 160 is a whole different ballgame. Whole different ballgame. To put that into perspective, Terrence Crawford at 154, we were saying had some concerns, and we were saying before he beat Canelo, him versus Janibek alone would be an issue. Him versus Arizona Lara, based on his performances at 154, would be an issue because the weight difference makes everybody else uber dangerous, especially somebody like a Virgil Ortiz. We may be able to look at the landscape of 160 pounds and say it's not nearly as robust of a talent. We can say that. We can say it's not nearly as robust of a fight caliber because most of the division has moved up to 168. It doesn't change that Virgil Ortiz at 160 now brings his own elevated physicality to a division. Even if it's lacking depth of field, it's not lacking the threat of Virgil being better, Virgil being stronger, Virgil having more ways to destroy you, a whole lot easier, because now he's carrying more power than what he was at 154. Whether he needed to move up or not, most likely he ain't losing nothing. Is that enough to tip the scales for us to say that Virgil Ortiz would be able to beat Boots Ennis at 160 pounds? I think it changes the question. Because right now at 154, even if you thought that Boots versus Virgil was a fight that was in Boots' favor, it was still 50-50 for most people. It was. We're not going to lie and act like we weren't seeing that fight on most people's accounts as a 50-50 affair to have stuff take place. It was. No matter how much or how little you thought of Virgil Ortiz, the consensus was that's the fight that we may not know who's going to win, especially after the fact that we saw Xander Zayas hurt Boots Ennis for 30 seconds straight in round 3 of their clash for the unified titles at 154. It put Boots on the map. It elevated his name immensely. It got him to the masses all across the nation and globe. Everybody wanted to see who Boots was, but it didn't neglect the fact that what we saw in Boots was vulnerability. Something we hadn't seen in a mighty long time. Something that we had talking points about. The chin being the biggest concern. The issue of relying on your beard literally being one of your best weapons that nobody can hurt you. Well, somebody hurt you. I don't care what you say. I know what we saw. Somebody hurt you. Somebody rocked you. A 23-year-old former youngest champion in boxing today rocked you and had you in a position where the biggest upset of your career was possible with you being on the negative end of it. It was right there for the taking. No question. You won. You overcame. We saw your response to adversity, which further made us feel you're going to be great. We'll be fine. But it doesn't change. The vulnerability is still there. And Virgil can exploit that because Virgil already was seen as if Ortiz is already the strongest puncher and Boots Ennis was already seen as somebody who can hurt you. Or Boots was already seen as, okay, this guy is not invincible. After getting rocked by Boots, let me rephrase it. Let me say that correctly. After getting rocked by Xander Zayas, we now said that Boots was vulnerable. Already knowing that Virgil Ortiz was somebody who could hurt Boots, that gave everybody a credence to say, now we know because of the Zayas fight, Ortiz can knock you out. And that was at 154. At 160, that vulnerability becomes compounded on by 7 pounds of pressure. Oh, excuse me, not 7. 154, 155, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60. 6 pounds of pressure because of 6 pounds of added weight. Because of 6 pounds of weight, that same destructive power is now doubled over. We got to have some concern. Even if we see Boots dominate down here, Virgil Ortiz at 160, even in a division that ain't really robust, still is Virgil Ortiz. And that man, especially once he feels into 160, because he'll probably stay there up until Boots comes up there. He's going to be, just like we saw with Usyk, just like we saw with Benavidez, a full-fledged middleweight, which means a full-fledged better puncher in all respects, with still the abilities that we've seen at 154. That's dangerous. That's very dangerous. And I may be crazy to say, but the odds of Boots beating Virgil Ortiz in some respects may have dipped from what they were when he was at 154. That doesn't mean that he still can't beat him. But we cannot overlook the discernment that needs to be taken for that fight in the future because of what we're going to see Virgil most likely turn into in the future as a bigger, more solid, fully functioning middleweight with all the benefits of that division in power, durability, and all around makeup of a strong power puncher. It enhances his best weapons without most likely losing anything. And now Boots is back to the same conversation that he was at when he first moved up to 154. You've never faced up against this type of power before. We can't say that you're the best up here, let alone beat somebody like Virgil Ortiz, because you never tasted that type of power at this big of a weight class before. Now that conversation starts all over again. We're back to the cycle. And the same questions from that point in time still live in this point in time. That's the truth. That's the truth. So we got to wait and see. But boy, it's going to be interesting. But I'm telling you, the same question, the conversations circle back around. Can Boots take Virgil's power at 160? That's what we have to ask ourselves. Because right now, we're back to saying the same stuff about what we said about Boots and Virgil at 154. Justifiably so. Justifiably so. Now, do I think Virgil can become a champion? Yeah. Do I think he beats Tim Tszyu? Yeah. Do I think he probably gets to Arizona Lara relatively easily? Yes, I do. Does he beat him? Now, Lara, different story. Might be a little bit shocking what that fight could be. because Lara's still, but still bad man. Still a bad man, even at 43 years old. And now is a heavy hitter. He's a bad brother, but in all reality, Ortiz might just beat him. And if he beats Arizona Lara, ooh, buddy, that'll make him more than ready to fight against somebody like a Boots Ennis. Or at least better prepared if he can beat Arizona Lara. But we'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see in all respects. But even still, we want to hear your thoughts and opinions on this show. Do not forget, we're still in the championship rounds of this airway of content and entertainment. We still want to hear from you in all facets of the world of boxing and beyond. And please keep on liking the stream. Keep on sharing the show. Keep on sharing your thoughts and opinions. And please do keep your finger on the trigger and continue to hit the like button, continue to keep on subscribing to the channel, and keep on sharing the show with the masses all across the globe so we can keep on building up this empire together. And shameless plug, you can still support this channel because we got Cash App, PayPal, links down below in the description, super chats, super gifts, stickers, and the like, all for you to help us invest into this show, to join in on this community, to help us to go and make this show better for you all to witness and enjoy. Without a doubt, we can't do this without your help, so we appreciate it so much if you can support the channel. It would mean the world to us. But we're still in the championship round. We still want to hear what you have to say on the day. Also, we covered in the past Floyd Mayweather, or yesterday we covered Floyd Mayweather getting Shakur ready for a fight. We need not forget when they were posting this on their social media, talking about Floyd working with Shakur. I'm going to play this clip real quick, and I'm going to tell you why we're replaying this, because I think we got some word as to who he's getting ready to fight next. But let's play Floyd Mayweather working with Shakur first, and then afterwards, we'll talk about why this is significant, continuing our conversation from yesterday. So let me make sure you all can see it. Yes, you can. Okay, here we go.
Yeah, come right over this jet. Right over.
Wait, hold on.
He used to fight me.
What's that? Double.
Yeah, come right over this jet. Right over. Because he used to fight me. He used to fight Orthodox. Then I used to fight Southpaw.
Yeah, keep working. Get a little stronger. I like it. I need to get that. Because sometimes I get off my shit.
But we all do.
Yeah.
No, for the most part, still. For the most part, still.
On that shit.
Is incredibly important because, like we said yesterday, Floyd doesn't just come to help for nothing. Normally, if he's around somebody, it's because A, they're under their wing, or B, they're prepping for somebody big. And we questioned yesterday whether or not we would see who we're going to see Shakur fight. Because we're waiting to see something happen. We brought up Conor Ben. We brought up maybe Ryan Garcia. We brought up names surrounding this division that we could see him potentially getting ready for in a future fight, depending on the results of fights at 140. Maybe Gary Antoine Russell, because we have some sparring footage with them taking place. We would love to see that fight. But I think we now know who he's going to be fighting because he's bringing in Floyd Mayweather. It's going to sound insane. It's going to sound crazy. It's going to sound ridiculous. It's going to sound, honestly, like a fight that you may not really want to see happen because of the fact that after not fighting Devin Haney, after never wanting to fight the likes of Keyshawn Davis, after having all this stuff with big fights, big names surrounding the likes of Devin Haney, and it never actually takes place, the consolation prize is going to shock you. Because the potential fight that's been swirling around more than ever of what we could see Devin Haney face off against somebody who we saw fight before after a 7-year layoff. Manny Pacquiao. Yeah, I'm serious. I'm dead serious. I'm dead serious. I'm dead serious. I'm dead serious. I'm as serious as the sun is in the sky. Shakur, I think, is getting ready for Manny Pacquiao. I think he's getting ready to fight Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao been training, was getting ready for a fight with Floyd Mayweather, but that fight fell through. They were planning on being able to fight in a mega rematch against each other. Floyd had a bunch of issues with money. That fight fell by the wayside. Mayweather still was active and working, getting ready. He's been in shape, crazy enough. He's been training this entire time. He still has said he wants to fight for a title again. He still has said he wants to go and chase an opportunity for a title. And that he still feels, this is not my last fight after the fight with Barrios. I still want to get some work. At 47 years old, still trying to work to defy the odds. And that's why Floyd was talking about in that training footage, he's not used to southpaws because he only fights orthodox fighters. That's why he said that. Listen to the opening segments of this clip. Wait, hold on. Wait. Hold on. I got you muted again. There we go. Listen to the opening segments of this very clip with Floyd Mayweather talking about it. And it's going to say, when you talk about that, it makes all the sense in the world.
Yeah, come right over his jet. Go right over. Because he used to fight orthodox. He's not used to fighting southpaw, so what's wrong with him?
He's not used to fighting. He's used to fighting orthodox. He's not used to fighting southpaws. So come over it with the jab of your own, because you're a southpaw. I truly do think, and again, it may be conjecture. It may just be making up stuff. It may just be me not knowing what the word I'm discussing, without a doubt. It could very well be that I'm just, a bump on the log that don't know what's going on. But I strongly do believe that we're going to see Shakur Stevenson fight against Manny Pacquiao to defend his title under Zuffa. And this might be the only fight that can actually happen. Because we questioned all the time. Keyshawn Davis is out of everything right now with a big fight because he's never going to fight Shakur, or he's willing to fight him, but they'll never actually fight. Shakur Stevenson ran from Devin Haney, even though Devin Haney agreed to fight him at 144. Didn't take that fight. He's not fighting Gary Antoine Russell. He won't fight Dalton Smith. He's not looking to go after the other names in the world of 140 because he doesn't care about the belts. He only cares about the biggest names possible. And right now, Ryan Garcia and Conor Ben, they locked up. So we can't fight them. And the only fights that would be even sustainable would be able to only be made late next year. The only other fight that could happen would be a name like Manny Pacquiao. Because even though he had a draw against Barrios, and even though he was out the ring for 7 years before his comeback, he still is one of the most notarized, polarizing, and biggest named fixtures in the world of boxing outright. That's not a debate. That's a fact. And Zuffa needs to make good on the contract with Shakur. And since he won't fight Valenzuela, El Rayo, Valenzuela, who's known as El Rayo, won't fight De Los Santos. He won't move up to 147 for anybody else. The only fight that we maybe will see is a fight with him and Manny Pacquiao. That's the only one. And that's why Floyd is teaching him. I do, again, long shot theory, but I think that's what we're seeing. And consolation prize or not, I promise you, if that fight does take place, it'll sell. It'll sell. If that fight takes place, it will sell. Because this is the biggest name that Shakur can get. Because that's what he cares about. The name, not the title, not the legacy, the name. And so it's boy, I'm telling you, I don't like it. Me personally, I don't like it at all. I hate it. I despise it. It's terrible. It's disgusting to me because of the fact that what we knew Shakur could fight, he's not fighting. Instead of Mario Barrios, it's like, oh my gosh, it's disgusting. Also, to be clear, we almost at 2 hours and 30 minutes. We got a little bit left, but we are at the end of the show, just so you know, because we're almost at our normal time limit, unless y'all want to keep on giving. But actually, I got to get ready for something this afternoon, so we may have to cut this a little bit shorter than what we normally do, pushing 2:45. I might have to cut a little bit shorter, but I digress. The biggest thing is he's looking to fight Shakur, or rather, Shakur's looking to fight Manny Pacquiao. I don't want him to fight Manny Pacquiao. I don't think he should fight Manny Pacquiao because you got better opportunities that you had in front of you. But if we're going by what Shakur has said previously, this is the best opportunity he could have to fight, regardless of whether we agree with it or not. And Mr. Miyagi, hey brother, how you doing? Cheers to you. Good to see you. We thank you for showing up on this stream. We thank you for showing up on the show. But like, this is it's terrible. And again, this will probably be the last point before I gotta end this show, because I do have to get ready for something. I do have to get ready for something this afternoon, so I gotta make sure I'm right. But this is the best thing that we would probably see Shakur have, because there's no other options. This doesn't necessarily help Shakur's optics in facing off against people, because if you think he got the tractions before, it's gonna be that, hey, you're the best champion in your division, and you ain't fighting nobody else, but you have the belts. You're fighting Manny Pacquiao, but Manny Pacquiao's old, and we're sick of people fighting against old fighters. Sure, Manny Pacquiao had a good performance against the likes of Mario Barrios. He did show up better than we expected. However, it doesn't change the fact that you should be fighting better competition. I thought Zupa was supposed to get you the fights that you wanted. Right now, this seems like a consolation prize of the best that you can get. And if you beat Manny Pacquiao, yeah, you're going to have his name on your resume, but you're going to get more ridicule there than ever. You're going to get more ridiculing than anything else. Because, no, with all due respect to Manny, we don't think at this point he could beat Shakur. This is a legacy name, not necessarily a talent name. Because he was, again, should have beat Mario Barrios, but he fought up to the Mario Barrios level. At 47 years old, that's incredibly impressive. And he should have won. But for you, Shakur, that is a cakewalk. With respect to Manny. Because this isn't the same Manny. And Mr. Miyagi, you bring up a great point. No way Shakur versus Manny is crazy. Why not fight Floyd Mayweather? You know? Why not? I'll be completely honest. And we're looking at that fight from that perspective. Floyd Mayweather's needed some money. This isn't shade. This is the facts of what we've been seeing over the course of the last couple months with Floyd Mayweather and his financial issues, getting sued by the likes of many. He needs money to come back. He only comes back for major fights. The biggest reason why Floyd comes back is because of money, and it can potentially be a mega event. That is Floyd Mayweather's ideology. Get paid, make bank, win, and keep my legacy of undefeated as the biggest thing in front of me. But right now, Manny Pacquiao, that fight is now off the table because of your own actions. So, you still need something to shake. Shakur wants to have a name on his resume that would be legacy driven. And Manny Pacquiao would be that guy. But at the same breath, if you were the one to beat Floyd Mayweather, even if they would say that he's old, which he is older, it would be outweighed by the public saying, oh my gosh, we finally saw Floyd lose. You were the man to outbox many people's greatest of all time. You destroyed the absolute lineage or legacy that Floyd Mayweather had defended and built up, because Floyd's entire identity is built around that O. You could do it. You could be that man to take one of the most coveted things in boxing, which is Floyd Mayweather's undefeated record. Even at this advanced age, it's still, if he was not undefeated, it would change everything. If he lost to Manny Pacquiao the second time around, it would change everything because it's Floyd Mayweather and he's not undefeated anymore. What is he now? Being better than Ali, Roy Jones, or anybody else, he can't say nothing like that because he's not undefeated anymore. Many of his arguments fall by the wayside if that does happen. The conversation around, even though he is older, the conversation around him shifts deliberately because he is undefeated. That is everything about him. He loses that. He loses the leverage in every conversation he's ever had about his greatness as a fighter. Doesn't change that he was great, but it fundamentally shifts the very conversation in and of itself. Life-altering would be a loss for Floyd Mayweather. Shakur could take that up. For some people, that would make him a villain. For some people, that would make him a hero. But for all, that would make him one of the most polarizing names in the sport. You want something that's worthwhile for Zuffa boxing, go take on Floyd. Go fight him, mentor or no mentor. Because Floyd Mayweather's cut from the same cloth from the standpoint of Terrence Crawford. He does value his pride. But if you poke him enough, you'll be like, you ain't nothing to me. You get disrespectful enough and you make it seem like, hey, this might be lucratively worth my time. It worth the risk of losing my oath. Because now there's some dollar signs behind the hate. All right. We'll make it shake. It can happen. It's a long shot, but I'd rather see that if you're going to fight this type of competition. With respect to Manny Pacquiao. Because again, we were saying Manny Pacquiao, Mario Barrios level, and he should have beat him. But in terms of at this stage, especially with it being, 2 years since his last fight at 47 years old, almost 48 now. The comeback was insane, but the activity lacking makes us concerned. Further showing fight, the spectacle will be there, but the talent, it might not be. Now, I'm going to say this before we go. If we did see Manny Pacquiao beat Shakur Stevenson, hey, I'm going to tell you this right now. He almost beat Mario Barrios. I'm not comparing the talent level. I'm saying it was almost impossible that many people thought he would even be competitive against Barrios. We were stemming from hopes and prayers that this fight would be good for Manny Pacquiao to roll back the clock. And he overshot every expectation and should have won that fight. If we see him beat Shakur, this version of Shakur at 147 pounds or 140, and we see him take his title, that probably would make him top 3. That would probably make him top 3. If he won a title in 4 or 5 different decades against, at this point in time, arguably the 5th best boxer in the world in his prime, off of the biggest win of his career with Tio, and you beat Shakur at 48 years old for his belt off of a 2-year layoff, that he might be top 3. He might be top 3. I dare say. Boy, I'm telling you. He might be top 3 ever. The greatness argument would probably be over between him and Floyd, even though it was never an argument. Floyd Mayweather, you may say Floyd Mayweather is better than Pacquiao, but Pacquiao's greater than Floyd. It wouldn't even be a debate. Greatness, he'd probably be maybe top 2. But as a fighter outright, he'd probably be top 3 if he did that. He'd probably be top 3. He'd probably be top. The same way we say that if Crawford beat Boots, now that people may put him as the greatest of all time, that's what the conversation is. If Pacquiao beat Shakur in Shakur's prime, same conversation. Same conversation. If he did win, same conversation. That would be preposterous on levels that I can't even imagine. That would be more impressive than Crawford beating Canelo. That would be more impressive than Crawford beating Canelo. That would be more impressive than George Foreman winning a title at 45 years old. That would be more impressive than Bernard Hopkins winning a title at 49 years old. That might be the single most impressive feat I've ever seen in boxing history, if he does that. And I say Crawford was top 3. That, in terms of greatest feats I've seen, that's top 3. If Pacquiao did that against Shakur, who, in his absolute prime, that'd be conversation so scary. I'd be scared to open my mouth. Y'all would hate what I would have to say. But that probably would be the greatest feat I've ever seen in boxing history, if he did that at 48. That'd be insane. That'd be preposterous. But only time will tell. But just know that fight may be coming to fruition. But with all that being said, we have to wrap this show up and get ready to go, because I got to get ready for something this afternoon on my end of the spectrum. We appreciate you tuning in. We appreciate you listening to our show. Hopefully you had a phenomenal time and enjoyed our conversation, our show, our entertainment, and we hope you have a great rest of your afternoon and a great rest of your weekend watching ITAUMA versus HRGOVIC, and also just flat out having a great weekend as a whole. But we got to get out of here. We got to go and do what we do best, which is end this show with a bang. So ladies and gentlemen, this has been another episode of The Welch Report with me, your host, Jean-Luc Welch. We thank you so much for tuning in and listening to this show, and we hope you had a phenomenal time on this Friday afternoon in this championship round edition of The Welch Report. We appreciate everybody showing up and showing out and tuning in to the show. We thank you for the pound chatters on the bottom of our stream. We appreciate everybody who donated and gave to our show and straight up was a participant in chatting and responding. You all mean the world to us. We thank you so much for all of your support, for all of the love, and for all of the ways that you make this show oh so entertaining, because we can't do this without you, the viewing and listening public. We appreciate you tuning in today. Hopefully, if you would, you remember to leave a like on the stream before you go. One like makes a world of difference to reach the masses all across the globe. And also be sure to subscribe to the channel. Be sure to go through and join the empire. Come be a part of the hottest show in all of the globe right here on The Welch Report. Hit the notification bell so you never miss a moment of what we have on our airways every 3 days out the week, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. Radio 5 stars on every podcasting platform, Apple, Spotify, you name it, we are there. Listen to us wherever you listen to podcasts, and have us on the go wherever you may be to be able to listen to us all around the globe. And please, if you can support the channel monetarily, we have Cash App and PayPal, links down below in the description, Super Chat, Super Gift, stickers, and more, all for you to help support this channel. Everything that you give helps us out immensely to grow this show and help us to make it better and edify the show for you all to witness and enjoy and listen to all around the globe, and to help me to pay the bills, because Lord knows we got them to pay and I need them, and plus it helps me to pay for 2K, if you know what I mean. Hey, try to, no, I still got to give a basketball fix. I don't just play that, but I got, I ain't trying to pay no 80 bones for that. But hey, September 4th, y'all can fund my addiction to go and be a hoop savant, as well as to help me go through and potentially help set us up for this channel later on as gamers. But hey, just so you know, hey, if you want to donate, we got it all for you. Business and pleasure, we need it both. But just joking, just having some fun. We appreciate you all tuning in. We appreciate you all. Oh, yeah, super chat, super gifts, and all that stuff. If you can give, just to help the show, would mean the world to us. But simply being here is enough to help us go and grow the channel. But I've been Jean-Luc Welch. You all have been absolutely wonderful. And we can't wait to see you all next week as we cover the world of boxing and beyond and all the action this weekend and what can come down the line with you on this show. But be safe, be blessed. Peace and love. Oh, we are out of here. Yes, sir. Salute to you. We thank you all for so much for tuning in. Have a wonderful afternoon. Have a wonderful weekend. Enjoy the fights. Enjoy your night. And we are out of here. We can't wait to see you all next time.